Welcome guys, this is where we left off in our second tutorial dealing with files and streams. So just to recap what we did here, we just had a directory name and we had an array of list of files, and then we prompt, we read and store, and then we run a test. The directory.exist, we send in the name, and then if it exists, we are saving these files inside a list of files, and we are just outputting those files at every specific location. All right, and then we are just having an else statement, and we had the dot animation. Okay, nothing new with this. This is something that we already know. So what I'm going to do, so that we don't do a lot of things, so what I want us to do is just come here and just comment that. So okay, let me just do it in this way. Right, and then once all that is done, I want us to try and do something new. Now this time it is very important that we are going to try to look at the following. So we are going to write some text to a text. Suppose that we have this, as you saw, we have this Samuel, and inside of Samuel we want to write some text inside of this file. So what we will do in order to do that, first of all, we are going to use what we call a file stream. So we are going to say file stream, there it is, and then we will create an object we will call the out file equals new, and I will reserve memory for the file stream. Now it is very important that the file stream first of all has to accept or we have to create a folder, a text file for that. But before we can go there, okay, let me just create a file and I'll call this lucky.txt. this will be the name of the file. Okay, that is fine. And then secondly, what I will do, or let me just do it in this way so that you may see what is happening. And then you have to say the file mode dot create, and then it will create that for us. And then we have to say the file access dot write. So I will have a write there, and then I will terminate this with a semicolon. So what is going to happen here now, it is very important that I give you some notes on this. So what are we going to do there? So we have a file stream. What is this file stream? File stream which is used alone and with both stream reader and stream writer for both input from and output to a file. Very, very important. So a file stream is used both with a stream reader and a stream writer. So the stream reader is for text input from a file, and text and stream writer for text output to a file. So this is very important. Stream reader and writer inherit from text reader and text writer respectively. So the console.in and console.out are properties of text reader and text writer respectively. Now there are some few things that we can do with the file stream. So a file stream has some properties which we call the it can read, can seek, can write. We can get the length, the name, and the position. So for example, when we say that the file stream, and then we create an object which we call the out file, and this is equals to a new file stream, and then we say, for example, lucky.txt, and then we say file mode.create and file access.write. What do we mean by that? What do we mean by that? Right. So we are saying another of file streams overloaded constructor requires only a file name. So what is this? This is the constructor of the file stream. So the constructor of the file stream, a class, requires a file name and a mode. You must provide the file name and the file mode dot create. If you use this version and the mode is set to append, then the default access is right. Otherwise the access is set to read write. So we have the file mode dot create. Okay, that is fine. And then we have different file modes. We can have file mode to append, we can have to create new, we have the open or create, and then we have the truncate. So this is what comes with the file mode. It allows you access to those methods, right? So we also have the file mode enumeration, which is read, write, and that. Right, let us continue with that. So it is very important that we understand that the file stream class, you create an object and the constructor must be initialized with those values. It first of all accept the name of this file, the file mode you want to create this file, and file access you want to write to that file. So this is very, very important that we understand that. And then one thing that we can say, remember we said now the stream. We said that the file stream goes along with the stream reader and stream write, and then we said that the stream reader for text input from a file and the stream writer for text output to a file. So what are we going to do there? We are going to have a stream. Okay, let me just come here. So you must have this stream. So the first one will be the stream writer. So the stream writer, and then you create an object of that. We will say it is a writer, and this is also equals to new stream writer. Now the stream writer, it is very important that it accepts an object of the file stream, which is what now? An out file. An out file. Very, very important. And then what do we do with that when we use the stream writer? It is very important that we understand this is for text output to a file. This is for text output to a file. Which file? This file which we call lucky.txt. Very, very important. So that is why we are using the stream writer. Right. Secondly, but the file stream, very, very important that we understand that. One thing that we should note is that the file stream has what we call an overloaded constructor. So let me just come here and say the file stream has an overloaded constructor. This is the first thing that we need to note about that. About what now? About the file stream. Very important. When you perform an input operation in an application, you can picture your bytes flowing into your program from an input device through a stream, which functions as a pipeline or a channel. So a stream is a pipeline or a channel through which data flows. Very important that we understand that. Right. When you write a program that stores data in a file, you create a file stream object that you can use to open, read data from it, write that data to it, and close it. So this is very, very important. Very, very important. So let us look at the functions of the file stream. Now the functions of the file stream is the following. So a file stream, let me just do this. Right, first of all, the functions of the file stream is for what? Now the file stream, it is so important because we have to understand the following. A file stream object, okay, let's just say functions of the file stream and the object associated with it. Very important. Right. When you write a program that stores data in a file, you create a file stream object that you can use for opening a file. So it opens a file. Secondly, it reads data from it. So it reads data from the file. And then secondly or thirdly, it writes data to a file. And then lastly, it opens a file. And then it can also so we said now it writes data to the file, it opens up the file, and then it reads data on the file, and then once it had read data on the file, it closes the file. So this is very, very important that we understand that. So this is the function of the constructor of the file stream. First of all, it opens the file, it reads data from the file, it writes data to the file. So let me just delete this one. Let's also delete that one. And it closes the file. So the function of the file stream is to open a file, read data from the file, writes data to the file, and then it closes that file. Because first of all, in order to have access to the file, the first thing you must be able to recognize that file, the name of the file, be able to locate that file by its name, and then you must be able to open that file. Once you have found the file, you read data from the file, and then you can write to that file, and then once you have done all those things, then you can just close the file. So the constructor of the file stream class, the object, it has to accept those arguments. First of all, the name of the file, and then the mode, file mode.create, and then file access.write, so that we can write into that file. So okay, that it's file. And then we know that the file stream, has two things. It has the stream reader and the stream writer. So the stream reader is for text input from a file, and the stream writer is for text output to that file. So when we are saying when we say stream reader, that is for what now? It is for text output to a file. So it does what now? It outputs that text that you will type to that file. So you must create an object of that. But what are you sending in here? You are sending the object of the file stream. Very important. In the stream writer, you send in the object of the file stream, and this is for text output to a file. Very important. Okay, that is fine. And then we can continue. Once we have done that, we have sent an object to the stream writer. One thing that we can do, we can just have a write line. Okay, let me just import. Okay, there it is. So let me just have this write line. Let me just have a write line. And then what is it that I'm going to do in this write line? Okay, let me not have a write line. Let me just have a write so that he can write on the same line. And then I'm just going to say enter some text. Enter some text. And this individual will enter some text, and I want to store that text. So I'm going to say string, and I'm just going to say this is text, and this is equals to what now? This is equals to a read line. Right. So I am prompting the individual to enter some text, and then he will type some text, and then I'm storing that text inside of the variable called text. Now I need to invoke the writer.write now. So the writer.write line, and then what is it now? The writer will allow you to write what now? To write whatever that you are writing to what now inside of this text. So it will take, the writer will take what you have written here and be able to write that inside of the file. So this is very, very important. Very, very important. Right. So we have this writer.write line. So it is very important that we understand that, because immediately when we say writer.write line, we are simply just writing inside of that file. Whatever text that you have written here, we are saying writer.write line, go inside of the writer. You see, there it is, the object of the stream writer. Go inside and write that file, write that information inside of that writer. And then we know that the writer object accepts another object that comes from the file stream. So the writer takes in this text that you have written here, and then it does what now? The writer accepts a string. It accepts the string that you have written. It takes that string that you have written via the object, and then it will output that file to the out file, which is inside of the file stream. Very, very important. So this is exactly what we are saying. When we say writer.write line, we are just simply saying, and it accepts one argument of type string, which is the text that you have been typing. It will take those keys that you have typed, write them inside a writer object, which accepts an out file. So it will go to the out file, which is what now? Lucky.text, because it is a constructor, and then it will be able to write those keys, whatever that you have written inside there, and then it will save that inside of this lucky.text. This is exactly what it will do. So it is the function of the writer.write line. So hence here I'm saying stream writer, I'm creating the object, and then when you have typed in some text, I will say writer.writeLine, and then I will send in the text that you have written. It will send that text to the out file, and then the out file will be able to file mode that, and then it will allow you to access that. So this is exactly what will happen. And then once you have written whatever that you wanted to write there, I will just say writer dot close. I will close the writer, and then I will also close the out file. So I will just close that. So you have written whatever that you have written, and then in the writer.writeLine. So the writer.writeLine takes in the text that you have write. Very important, you have written some text. It takes that text via the writeLine. We know this is also a method, but the writer.writeLine accept one argument of type string, which is the text that you have been writing, and then it sends that text to the out file, and then that will make it possible inside of that file. So let me just run this so that you can see what I'm trying to explain. So let's just run this and show you exactly what is going to happen here. So here we are, and let me just do this. So I know the name of the file will be lucky.txt. Now it say enter some text. So I'm going to just say there are 55 learners in the class, and they are all male individuals. They are also individuals, and they are also of the same kind. This will be the text, and when I press enter, it will just say press any key to close. Now what has it done? It has created a text file called lucky.txt. The file mode.create, it will create that via the constructor, and then file access.write will allow you to write inside of this file. Now what is happening here? Now first of all, I say file stream.out file equals new file stream. Why am I using a file stream? Because a file stream has an overloaded constructor. The stream is a pipeline or channel through which data flows. So this is very important. I must have this file stream, and then when you have this file stream, you must provide those constructors: the name, the file mode.create, and the file access.write. Right, functions of the file stream and the object associated with it. It opens a file. First of all, it will open the file lucky.txt. It will set the file mode.create and the file access.write. It will allow you to write into that file. It allows you to read data from the file, writes data to the file. That's exactly what we are doing. And then once you are done with that, it will close that. But I know that the file stream is associated with the two things. It is the stream writer, which is a class. I'm creating the object of that class, which is writer, and I'm reserving memory for that, and then it accepts an object because it has to do what now? It has to set out the text output to a file. So it will accept a what now? It will accept an object of the file stream, which is an out file. Very important. The function of the stream writer is just to do what now? To output the text to a file. Now you are saying enter some text, and then you are saving that text inside a variable called text. And then when you say writer, which is an object of the stream writer, when you say writer.writeLine, and then it accepts one argument of type string, and then you have to send in that text which you have saved, which is a text. There it is. And then it will allow you to write that text inside of that file. And then once we have done that, you will close the writer and you will also close the file. This is all what we are doing. Very, very important. So let's just go and check whether we have this file. So let's check what is the name. First of all, let me come here. I know it's lucky.txt. So let me just go back, and here I am. I have a file which is called lucky, and it is a text document. And then when I open this file, this is the information I have. There are 55 learners in the class, and they are all male individuals, and they are also of the same kind. So this is the text that I have. So all this is made possible by the file stream and the two subclasses, which is the stream writer and also the stream reader. But we did not use the stream reader here. We only used the stream writer, which is for text output to the file. Very important. So now this is something that I just wanted to share with you, something that I wanted us to understand. And then when that is done, in the second tutorial, I want us to look at one of the most important things, which we will just look at writing sequential to a file. We will just write something sequential to a file, and we will see exactly how this is made possible. We will look at the classes and see if we have methods and everything. How can we incorporate all that inside of a file? So this is just something very simple, very minimum, that I wanted us to look at and share. And then please, I will see you in the next tutorial.